I spent 4 years believing the way to stay sharp was a puzzle book. I bought them in packs of 3. I got very good at that particular puzzle book, and no better at anything else. This is about 6 habits that seem to actually keep people sharp after 60. Not one of them is a puzzle. They are psychological, they are small, and they are free. The first time I noticed one working, I was standing in a queue at the post office adding up my shopping in my head, holding a number I could not have held the year before. No miracle cures, no scare stories, nothing to buy, just what is actually true. I have put these in order, from the one that helps to the one I would change first if I could only change one. And the one at number 1 is something most of us quietly stopped doing somewhere in our 50s, without ever deciding to. It is not a puzzle, it is not a supplement, and it is the only one on this list that needs another person. Maybe you have noticed you walk into a room and the reason is gone. Maybe a name sits behind your teeth for a full minute before it turns up. Maybe you read a page twice because the first time did not land anywhere. I know. I have done all 3 this week. That is a direction, not a destination, and a direction can be changed. Number 6. The sentence you say out loud without hearing it. I said I was too old for that about a bike, then about a concert, then about learning to cook properly, which is absurd. Because cooking is not a young person's activity. It seemed like modesty. It seemed like being realistic, which is a word I have hidden behind for years. What I found out is that the sentence is not a description. It is an instruction, and I was the one taking it. Every time I said it, I closed a door without ever checking whether it was locked. What I changed was small and slightly embarrassing. I stopped saying it out loud. When it turned up, I said I had not done that in a while instead, which is true, and leaves the door where it is. Inside a month, I had said yes to 2 things I would have refused on reflex. One of them was terrible. The other one is number 3. That is number 6. Number 5 is the one I had completely backwards because it looked like efficiency. Number 5. Doing 2 things at once and finishing neither. I used to be quietly proud of the radio, the email, and the kettle all going at once. It felt like keeping up. It felt like the opposite of slowing down, which was the thing I was actually afraid of. What I found out is that attention does not split. It swaps quickly, and it drops something small every time it swaps. The tiredness I had been putting down to my age was mostly the cost of all that swapping. What I changed was one rule, and it is not a strict one. One thing all the way through once a day. Reading a page with nothing else running. Writing a message with the television off. I did not reorganize my life. I picked one thing a day and let it be the only one. What changed was that the thing I did that way, I could still describe that evening. The things I did in pieces, I could not. That is number 5. Number 4 is the one I am least proud of because I paid money to make it worse. Number 4. The small difficulty you keep taking out of your day. I bought a coffee machine that grinds, heats, and pours from one button. It seemed like the entire point of getting older, that things should get easier, and they should, where it matters. What I had not noticed was how many of those buttons I had collected. The machine, the car that parks itself, the app that does the arithmetic at the till, each one sensible on its own, and together they had taken every small hard thing out of the day. It is not that difficulty is good for you in some punishing way. It is that a job you hand over completely is a job your attention stops turning up. I kept the coffee machine. I am not proud enough to give up the coffee machine, but I add up the shopping on the way to the till now and check myself against the screen. By the 3rd week, it had stopped feeling like work. That is number 4. Number 3 is the one I resisted longest because it means being visibly bad at something in front of other people. Number 3. Being a beginner badly on purpose. Everything I was good at, I had been good at for 30 years. That felt like the reward. It seemed sensible to spend my time on the things I already did well. What I found out is that being competent is comfortable, and it is also very quiet. Something you are already good at asks almost nothing of you. Being genuinely bad at something asks all of you, and that is the entire point. What I changed came out of number 6. From one of the things I said yes to on Reflex, a Tuesday drawing class where I was the worst in the room by a distance. I am still the worst in the room. I have made my peace with it. What changed is not that I can draw. It is that I come home tired in a way reading has never made me tired. and that seemed like information worth having. That is number 3. Number 2 is the most boring habit on this list, and I would not give it up for anything. Number 2, something that expects you at a particular time. For a while, my week had no edges. Nothing started, nothing had to be anywhere. It seemed like freedom, and for about 6 weeks, it genuinely was. What I found out is that a day with no fixed point in it is a day you have to build from nothing every morning. Building from nothing is expensive. It is far easier to be somewhere at 10 than to decide, at 10, what to do. What I changed was one thing I could not move. Not a hobby, an appointment, with a person at a time that would be noticed if I missed it. Mine is a Thursday. It does not matter in the slightest what it is. What changed was that the rest of the week arranged itself around it without me deciding anything at all. That is number 2. And number 1 is the one I have been promising you since the beginning. Number 1, a conversation that takes some effort. Here it is. And it was not what I expected. The people I know who are sharpest in their 70s are not the ones doing the most crosswords. They are the ones still having conversations that are slightly hard work. Not arguments, effort. Somebody who is not their age, or who does not already agree with them, on a subject they have to actually think about, instead of running the version they have run 100 times. Here is what I had done without ever noticing. By about 55, I had narrowed down to people who thought roughly what I thought, about things we had already settled. It is comfortable. That is exactly why it happens, and why nobody decides to do it. A conversation you can have on autopilot is not a conversation your head is turning up for. This one does the most for the least effort, and it is the only thing on this list you cannot do on your own. What I changed was not a personality transplant. I said yes to lunch with a nephew who thinks I am wrong about almost everything, and I let him tell me why instead of waiting for my turn. It is not that I remember more. It is that the evening after one of those conversations feels the way evenings used to feel at 45, and I had stopped expecting that back. That is number 1. Your week, start to finish. The 6 of them, in the order a week hands them to you. Monday morning, you catch the sentence and leave the door where it is. Somewhere in that day, one thing done all the way through with nothing else running. It does not have to be important. It has to be the only one. You add up the shopping yourself, or take the stairs, or dial a number you know by heart. One small hard thing you could have handed over and did not. Tuesday, whatever your Tuesday turns out to be, you go and be bad at something in front of people. Thursday, something expects you at a time, and the rest of the week hangs off it. And once somewhere in there, a conversation you have to concentrate in, it costs nothing, and nobody has to know you are doing it. The honest part, the bit nobody puts at the end of these. None of this is fast. Number 5 I noticed inside 2 weeks, and it was the only one that quick. Number 1 took a season, and I only saw it looking backwards. If you are 3 weeks in and nothing has shifted, that is the ordinary shape of it, not failure. Most people stop about a fortnight before anything happens. It cannot make you 25, and it will do very little against a run of bad nights. It will not fix a week you have spent worrying, and it will not do the work for you. And since I opened by saying no puzzles, let me be straight about them. If you enjoy the crossword, keep doing the crossword. It is just very good at making you better at crosswords, which is not the same thing as the 6 on this list, and I spent 4 years confusing the 2. One more, and I mean this one. Some of this is simply a head and a body that have done 60-odd years of work. Some slowing down is not a problem with the solution attached to it. It is the ordinary cost of having lived a while, and it does not owe you 30. You are allowed to leave some of it exactly where it is. So, 6 habits, and not one of them a puzzle. Number 6, stop saying the sentence out loud. Number 5, one thing all the way through. Number 4, keep one small hard thing in the day. Number 3, be visibly, badly, a beginner at something. Number 2, have something that expects you at a time. And number 1, the conversation that takes effort. None of it is a puzzle. All of it is a Tuesday. Tell me in the comments what you would like explained next. I read every single one. A like helps this reach somebody who would rather understand what is happening than be frightened into buying something. And subscribing is how the next one finds you. Here is to the healthy living years.